The wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Maybe I can help you. I am Boba Fett. The ship you seek is nearby.
Well, this is the part where I start the video by saying it's Friday night again. And it is. It's the first, let me see, we're in mid-November. We just had Friday the 13th. Ooh, that's right, it's Friday the 13th. And we're going to get onto some modeling this weekend. The weather will cooperate. I'll have to get some yard work done because I really need to get it done. But we're going to finish the Boba Fett, the Bandai Boba Fett. As you can see, I've got him in the, what is that, platoon, the war picture, Vietnam War picture, poster pose where he's on his knees, head back, arms back. But here's what I want you to see. This is the difference between using the Comart stain on I keep calling it a stain, it's a wash, the Comart wash on an arm, and here is the arm, the other arm with no Comart wash. And hopefully you can notice a difference, especially if I do that from a distance. But that's what I'm going to do on all of the gray parts of the jumper. What I want to do now is put all this on, tape it down to a board, and put a gloss coat on it so that I can decal over everything here that needs to have decals. And then I can start aging it up and banging it up. And while this guy waits his turn in line, it's time to turn my attentions back to this. This is the Hopper. Yeah, I think I'll call him Dennis. I've got all of these 6 lights wired in. That's what all this mess of spaghetti is. I'm going to trim all these down and get them down to one common light, or one common set of wires. So I can continue work on the bottom part before I turn my attentions back over to the big ball. But I want to get the carrier part out of it, the landing gear part done. And that's really going to be a matter of getting some details on here and then aging up the landing gear to make them look appropriately nasty and weathered. Well, good morning. It is Saturday. It's a cold Saturday outside. It's in the mid 40s, upper 40s, and it is way too cold to do anything but hunker down on my desktop here and do the decaling on the Boba Fett, the Bandai Boba Fett. The thing is, I'm getting ready to weather the armor, and following my standing tradition of building it new and then adding the weathering on top, I am getting ready to put the decals on the bits of armor that we've got so that I can then age all of that at one point. Over here you see the body doing a crab walk. I have used the wash of the Comart on the arms and legs, and that is drying, and then I will address that later. But I want to start by putting some of these decals down. The backpack, which is pretty dull now, actually gets a big chunk of the decals, so it'll look a lot better when it's done. And then of course they give you these wonderful color pictures for reference of how the weathering should be done, or how the damage to the armor should be done. So we'll try to duplicate. We're not going to duplicate every single scratch, but we're going to try to indicate as much of it as possible. And what we're going to do with that is, after the decals are on and have had a chance to dry, I'll seal those in with a flat coat, which will dull down the armor again. And then I'll go back in and pick out various dings and scratches with some metallic silvers, so that will be shiny against the dull. So let's get to work. Eureka! I think I've discovered the secret to painting the silver damage on this on the armor. For me, it is, the secret is to paint the armor around the edges and then try to keep it neat. And my own ham-handedness and fat-fingeredness takes care of the rest. I just touch a little bit around the edge and then wipe it off, or dab it a little bit, and then just my normal handling. We know how my nemesis is silver paint. My own, just by the handling of it, it comes up into the rest of the piece of armor and acts in a way that on any other model would be not what you want. But on this particular model of this particular subject, where'd it go? Seems to work fine. And here is the, or here are the many parts of Boba Fett with some silver chip weathering and the chrome paint that I need to walk away from. And you can kind of see where I'm going with the damage on some of that stuff. And what I'm going to do now is go do some yard work, because, look at that, because I'm not really shaking, it's just the visor, or the staff is made of real thin material. Here's the chest plates, but I need to leave it alone, and while I am leaving it alone, I could be out gathering up some errant leaves that have fallen in the yard, so we'll let these guys sit and dry. Well, I'm back at Boba after spending 2 or 3 hours out in the yard getting up leaves. I am back to working on Boba, and all of the silver paint has had time to dry. Stupid thing about working in leaves, after 2 or 3 hours, all it takes is a fairly good gust of wind, and you're right back where you started, and you can't prove that you did any darn work. But hopefully at least my neighbors saw me trying, and I'll get some points for the effort, if not for the result. But now I am trying to rescue some decals that I screwed up by using the stickers, and it's working fairly nicely. That earpiece, I lost the back half to the salva set, so I am come on, focus, there you go. So I'm using the sticker, and I basically just took my X-Acto knife and cut up, scraped off some of the those amber hash marks there to simulate the damage that should be there. They shouldn't be all solid. So fun with knives. And I'm painting in some slight details with the metallics, some golds and some the chrome, obviously, but going in with the blacks and the golds and trying to bring out some of that there detail. Gonna let these dry just a little bit longer before I try to do any construction. And with Boba Fett drying in the background, a newly rebuilt, faster, better, stronger Boba Fett, which we will get into more tomorrow. I'm letting that kind of sit for the night. Looky what I have here. It is the undercarriage for the Hopper. Yes, I'm back to working on the Hopper. I know at least one person out there who's happy to hear this, because they're waiting for me to do some more work on theirs so they can get started on theirs. Anywho, here's a Hopper, and I've got the basic framework of the undercarriage put together, and you saw me paint this wonderful, unique shade of brown that I invented. That is brown. I tried to make it a nice orangey, metallic-y thing. It turned out brown. And here's all the wiring for all 6 of the spotlights. All I need to do is join them together and shorten them down and neaten them up. And what you might want to see here is how I'm going to power the whole thing. On the bottom there's 3 indents, and the middle indent is now the power jack. I'm going to be doing some rough sanding on this to get all these, now that I've got these guys in nice and solid, I'm going to let them dry up overnight tonight, do some sanding on them, and maybe give this a new coat of paint tomorrow, and paint the red and black wires that you see going to the spotlights. Those will be painted so that they don't look like obvious power lights, but they are obvious power lights. That's how they're going to look, but I'm just making it part of the structure. But I'm going to paint them so they don't look red and black. That's the goal, so we'll see how it goes. Welcome back. It is Sunday morning, slightly afternoon. I guess it's slightly afternoon on Sunday. It's not morning at all. Anyway, we're back on the finishing rounds of Boba Fett here for the Bandai Boba. And I've reassembled him to show you the state that he is in. Looking fairly well beat up. What I want to do now is to address some places where he may have gotten a little too beat up. I'm looking at those legs in particular and thinking that perhaps it's a little too dark. So what I'm going to do is take a big old brush and some Tamiya gray, Royal Light gray, and I'm going to dry brush, just hit the high spots on the pouches and some of the fabric on his legs there to try to bring that up a little bit brighter, and then probably give him one good matte finish, or one good matte or flat spray to finish him all off. Now the only piece I'm keeping out is this visor because I want it to stay glossy, so I don't want to hit that with any sprays that might dull it. But hit this whole guy with some matte, and then maybe go in over top of some of this silver and re-highlight it, which will do two things. First, it'll dull down the silver that's on it and make it more of a gray. And then when I add just the tiniest touch of silver over top of it, now that it's in place, I don't have to worry about handling it and therefore dropping it or smudging it or anything like that. But it'll bring out that last bit of metallic sheen to it. So this is taking a little more painting than either the 3PO or the droids, where I more or less relied on the color of the plastic. But it's overall still a lot easier than painting this all from scratch. They did a pretty good job of hitting all of the major colors of parts. But I still need to do a wash in the helmet to bring out some of those recessors. There are those two little diamond-like shaped things that are right over top of his center of his visor that I need to accentuate by putting some black wash in there. So looking pretty good. Okay, he's ready for a good flat coating. I'm going to take him outside since it seems to be a little bit more hospitable out there today, and give him a good flat coating and bring him back in. I'm not going to do that for the gun because I don't want to knock down the metallicness of the barrel. So let's go do that. And he looks so much better outside. He's a little glossy now because of the spray, but very, very happy with the results here. Even more so than I would be if it had come pre-painted, because I got to say that I did this, and mine won't look like the next person's because of the randomness of the paint chipping and whatnot. There's no two of them are ever going to be the same, which is the best thing you could say about any model. No two of them should ever come out looking exactly the same. So we're going to let him dry out here, and I'm going to revel in the fact that yes, I got some leaves up. You can't really tell, but I may spend another hour or so getting leaves up today. See if it does any good. Here is the table full of Hopper again. Like anything else on this kit, you can't really get into it without really committing some space to it, because it is huge. There is the carriage. It's the ball. I just have the ball kind of dry fit sitting on the carriage. And this is what I'm going to be working on today, and that is getting all of those white lights in the come on, the ball wants to roll away. Getting the lights in the carriage wired up, and then I'm going to give the undercarriage here another coat of paint. And I think I'm changing my mind on the color. I want to go with a more industrial yellow, sort of heavy machinery type of yellow color for that, which will still go nice with the blue ball. And in case you think I had forgotten, there is Slimer. And there's the finished Mr. Fett. Zoom in on him a little bit. I got the T-plate put in place. It is eminently poseable. I mean, you can do practically anything short of breakdancing with them. Scroll, zoom back out a little bit. Maybe the back of those knee joints make it look a little bit like a toy, but I can't complain. Certainly the most versatile action figure ever made. You really can do practically any sort of pose with it. I kind of like the head down look there. And you've got swappable hands, so if you don't want to use the big gun, you can put the fists in if you want to use, like he's using his forearm weapons. But this was a weekend job. What goes together very quickly, cleans up very nice, and how much detail you want to put in on it really is up to you. I think it turned out quite nicely myself. And like I said, there are no two alike since you have to paint it yourself. So yay for Bandai on that. And as a piece by itself, it's really well done. But as a companion piece, it's even better. And the companion piece is going to be the next project, which is this guy. It is the Bandai Slave 1 that goes with it. Again, they also took the smuggler's way out as far as not putting in all the painted details. So that will be an adventure in and of itself. But alas, an adventure for another day, because now I need to get back onto Dennis the Hopper. So one last shot at the bounty hunter, and then we'll close him up. You know, I've forgotten how long it takes to wire something. I was fighting with this for a lot longer this afternoon than I thought I was going to. But what I did was try to get 6 times 2, getting 12 wires down to 2 wires. Not always as easy as it looks, but there is the ugly joint inside there. But the happy result is, now this is only temporarily wired up so that you can see it, but the happy result is there are the 6 spotlights going around the side. Let me turn off this overhead. There are the 6 spotlights that are going around the, and these are somewhat, again it's sitting crudely, but these are somewhat, ooh, don't watch that, there must be a short there, somewhat adjustable. I can play with them a bit, I can fine tune them. I'll probably lock them in a particular place after I've got them on top of the landing gear and everything's done. I probably will just nail them down. This one actually has a deflector in, or the chrome insert in. These other ones do not, to show how they look. But now I'm going to do some repainting on this carriage. And here's where we're going to end the Hopper's work for today. I've gotten what I'm calling, first coat of what I'm calling industrial yellow on top of that orangish brown that I had. I'm reminded of the line from American Graffiti where Harrison Ford, of all people, was commenting on the color of Paul LeMatt's car and wondering if it was a combination of piss yellow and puke green, and that's kind of what we're going for here, or actually what it's turning out to be. But this is, you know, it's one of those ugly phases, but what I'm going to do is start putting some grime smears and grease and stuff in there, so it's going to look a lot more banged up and used than it does right now. But I'm putting in the base colors, and I finally decided on a color scheme that I liked for the landing feet, the kind of the yellow with the blue spat over top of it. So I'll mask that off and touch the yellow into it and neaten that up. But I'm digging where the colors are going on that. So we're back on the Hopper full time. Now that Boba's done, I got Hopper and I got Slimer, and Slimer got absolutely nothing done to it this weekend. So this is project number 1 for right now. And that brings us again to the end of another Sunday's work, another weekend's worth of work here. It's getting colder outside. The opportunities to do a lot of stuff are diminishing, so slowing down a bit, working on smaller things, taking my time, enjoying things a little bit more. Got Boba knocked out. I pretty much assumed that was going to happen, and got back on the Hopper, and hopped back on the Hopper, as it were. So that's where I'm at. That's job 1 right now, and I will catch up to Slimer as I can. with the idea that it may take a while. I don't have a particular deadline for any of these, so I tend to let things slack when I don't have somebody shaking their finger at me and telling me to get stuff done right away. So until next week, where we'll pick this up and jump back on the hopper, I will wish you a happy week. Take care of each other. Be good. Be safe. Stay warm. And we'll see you back again here next week. Bye-bye.